thing. I mean, Ed Sheeran wears hoodies on stage. Are you going to ban Ed Sheeran from Romford?
Well, Ed Sheeran even knows that because he's actually got himself into a suit at last because he's had to go to court and he's wearing a suit. So obviously he is aware that fashion makes a difference. And the pacing, if you've got nothing to hide, what's the problem?
But you can't start dictating what people wear. You can't tell people what to wear. We don't live in a nanny state,
People do. In France, they've banned burqas and...
But this isn't France.
No, I know.
You're not in France, babe.
I know.
So
well,
you can't ban hoodies. Jeffrey Dahmer wore thick glasses. You're going to ban people from wearing glasses?
Sure.
Romford in Essex has banned members of the public from putting up their hoodies in the town centre.
Yes, ski masks and motorcycle helmets are also forbidden. Surgical masks and religious garments, however, are still allowed. So is it fair to restrict people's fashion choices under the guise of safety?
Well, we're joined now by comedian James Barr, who says, look, you just can't dictate how or what people wear when they go out shopping. And chairwoman of Women into Business, Tina Knight, who thinks that wearing hoodies in public spaces, in shopping centres, is incredibly intimidating. It's certainly true that if you see a bunch of, young lads hanging out in a shopping centre together, all with their hoods up, there is definitely, and most people would admit this, there is a visceral response. You do feel a slight sense of, I suppose, suspicion. Are they all right? Are they up to anything? Why would that be, though? It's just a hood.
Well, I'm not debating the rights and wrongs of whether it's right or wrong, but people do judge people by the way they look, the things they wear. It does send out messages. And obviously, because of the anti-social behaviour of many of these youngsters who are in hoodies, it's become synonymous with intimidation.
Associate the hoodie with disruptive behaviour. Yeah.
And what they're asking, they're not asking them to take their hoodies off. Because I have a raincoat with a hood, which if it's raining goes up. Yeah. They're asking them to take their hoods down and not wear surgical masks. Now, I think that's every right. It must be a reason from them making that decision because they want to encourage people to go to shopping centres and spend their money. So, therefore, they think that by doing this, if it means that they lose the business of the hoodies, they're going to be more than compensated by more people shopping in that area.
But is it tarring a large group of people with one brush? I mean, this is typical. We've had a lot of messages like this. This is Jason on Twitter. Morning, Jason. He says, look, it's not just young people who wear hoodies. I'm in my 40s. I wear them a lot, and they're convenient in the colder weather. And Craig says, I'm 48. I wear a hoodie, but I'm not a troublemaker. Are they going to ban me from wearing mine as well? You can't tar us all with the same brush.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, Ed Sheeran wears hoodies on stage. Are you going to ban Ed Sheeran from Romford?
Well, Ed Sheeran even knows that because he's actually got himself into a suit at last because he's had to go to court and he's wearing a suit. So obviously he is aware that fashion makes a difference. And the pacing, if you've got nothing to hide, what's the problem?
But you can't start dictating what people wear. You can't tell people what to wear. We don't live in a nanny state, Tina.
Well, people do. In France, they've banned burqas and...
But this isn't France.
No, I know.
You're not in France, babe.
I know.
So you can't ban hoodies. Jeffrey Dahmer wore thick glasses. You're going to ban people from wearing glasses.
Do you think, though, on the point of sort of, the antisocial behaviour, and there are stories from Romford. There's one of a store manager who talks about gangs of youths going in.
But that's a gang of people, right? That's the problem. It's not the hoodie.
And because they were wearing the hoodies, they weren't able to identify who they were. So do you think from that point of view it's fair enough to say, actually, don't hide your face with a hoodie?
I don't think so, no, because that's one rule for everyone then. What about a hoodie? Hoodies have feelings too. Maybe they don't want to be banned. Maybe it's the gang that's the problem.
Lots of shops have signs already now saying that you cannot wear crash helmets. You must take your crash helmet off if you enter stores. And at the end of the day, what is wrong if you've got nothing to hide with just removing your hood when you're in an area? And quite frankly, the retailers have got every right to make these rules. And the choice is you either shop there or you don't.
It's not exactly the biggest infringement of human rights that I've heard of, to be honest. To be honest.
Put your hood down.
Just put your hood down while you're in the shop.
I just think you all just sound very old and stuffy, and actually maybe Romford should just ban bigots from entering their town centre because that's really the problem here. It is bigotry. You can't just tell people what they can. It is not bigotry to worry about
the safety and bringing in your customers. They obviously found commercially it's a hindrance to their business.
Maybe if I'm in Romford, I don't want to be seen, and I just want to wear a hood.
Sorry, if I could actually
Excuse me, I was born in Romford. I will not take that.
Oh, sorry, Richard. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
But seriously, all right. Then let's. I mean, apologise if this sounds stuffy and old-fashioned, but there has to be a reason that they've done this. There has to be a reason that the commercial operators in Romford Shopping Centre have come together and agreed, and the police agree with them as well, that hoodies, or the wearing of hoodies, should be banned. Why do you think they've done it?
Well, I think it's what you're saying, Tina. I think they're afraid of gangs of youths coming in and then you can't recognise them. But that's the problem. It's not that you're wearing a hoodie, it's that it's a gang.
You think
of
it's actually
people.
maybe a distraction? You know, they're saying, look, we're taking action, we're telling people not to wear hoodies, but actually that's not going to solve the problem.
Yeah, that's not solving any problem at all.
Well, it certainly will solve the problem in many cases, because basically anybody that is going there with no interior motives will have no problem whatsoever in taking the hood down. If they've got a problem with doing that, that one has to ask why. And as Richard says, that these retailers are in there to make money, and it's a decision that they have made that they feel that by doing this, it will encourage more people to shop there.
How are they going to police it, though?
Well, basically, if they won't serve them.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
James,
surely Romford needs the money.
If it's not this, though, what would they do? What should they be doing instead of banning hoodies, then?
Well, I think, obviously, Romford has a crime problem, but that's not going to be solved by telling people what to wear, is it?
Well, it certainly does help solve the crime problem, because the whole reason is that their face is not exposed.
But what if you don't want to expose your face because there's something not OK today? Maybe I've got a spot and I don't want people to see it.
I never want to expose my face if I've not got a slap on, you know. But basically, I would therefore make sure that if I was going to somewhere where I had to expose my face, I'd put my
So you dress up for Romford Town Centre?
Oh, I would.
Really?
Definitely.
Wow. OK, I certainly wouldn't. I'd be hiding from...
Tiara and fur coat, absolutely.
We will have to leave it, but thank you both very much. James, Tina, we
Thank you both.
appreciate you coming in to talk about that this morning.